Welcome all you wrestling fans to the 5th episode of the Pop-Up Powerbomb Podcast. I'm your host, the Breathtaking One himself, Spooky. This evening, wrestling fans, we discuss where does the Bloodline story go from here. Owen Hart returns to video games after 19 years. We speculate on the Forbidden Door PPV and much, much more. So grab those snacks and beverages, kick up those feet, and now we just have one question for y'all. Are you ready? All right. Hey, Brother Mabs in the building. Welcome in, sir. Welcome in. Of course, the Rock and Warrior Trinity, my lovely girl. Great to see you.
Good day.
Yeah, she's feeling a bit under the weather today, so I'm surprised she's in here. I thought she might be laying down, but good to see you, love. Toughing through it.
Hey, feel better, Trini. Feel better.
Pyro, of course, the man from across the pond. Is always in here supporting. The brother Dread, the brother Dreadpool. Always great to see you, brother. Always got those beers in hand. Beautiful beard he's got going on. He looks like one of the.
I hope he's not always holding it in his hand. That's just weird if he's always like holding it in his hand.
Holding it, not even drinking it, just just sitting there. What are you doing with that beer, bro? No.
Just holding it, looking good,
Yeah,
good.
it's looking good. I'm getting drunk off looking at it.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, if you can hit that like button, share this out. It's always a great help, everyone. All right, let's get into the panel. Paul, how you been?
I've been doing pretty good, doing some Diablo, as anybody who's been paying attention could tell.
Yes, sir.
Got my steed today, got level 49.
Woo!
Heavy into Act 4. Yeah, been busy.
Yeah.
I'm still on level 15. I've not been playing Diablo. I've just been on Street Fighter.
I'm not far.
I'm
on level 32. So.
Ooh.
Yeah. With my necro, man. It's funny. I was.
Are we friends on Xbox? Because I don't think I ever see you on. Holy crap! I'll have to check.
Yeah. We are. I'm usually on when PK and that's on because I've been playing with PK, and he loves it because I bring my little skeleton army.
Yeah, me too. I got my little.
Yeah.
I got my little skeleton army thing going too.
Kind of feel like
I got bows and arrows. I got a rogue.
Yeah.
Then I got a sorceress that I do like. That might become my new main for my sorceress.
Yeah.
The sorceress on tier 2.
Sorcerer is going to be my second I create as well because it's Necro and Sorcerer are my favorites. But I want to try at some point the Druid as well because that gets turned into like a werewolf and stuff like that. So that looks pretty cool.
I tried it early on. I couldn't get a feel to it, honestly. Now again, I didn't get a feel to it when I did like the first act with the Druid. I just couldn't vibe with it.
Same with me. I did the Druid during the beta. I couldn't do it. I'm like, I may try. My next one's probably going to be Rogue. Then I'll go Sorcerer. Then I'll go Barbarian. Then I'll try the Druid last.
The Rogue is personally my personal favorite because I just like being an archer type character just to snipe people from a distance. But that Druid run, it was just it didn't stick with me.
Yeah, that's what I say. Everyone's got their different feel, you know, for the different takes you can go with it. Like I know there's not many. You don't see many people go, "Oh, I've chosen Barbarian." You know what I mean? It's just a brute force, I think. But I mean,
I think Ainge did a Barbarian. That is main from Ainge, if I remember right.
Yeah, and he's got a Druid as well. Yeah, but Dread's working and lurking. That's great, brother. Because the other day you were outside with Carlo. I seen that video. He's like, "We're outside." How about you, Josh? How you been, bro?
Chilling. Like I said, man, just been playing a lot of Diablo and actually no lies. More of Street Fighter, like a lot. Like I'm totally in love with Street Fighter. Been playing with a lot of good friends. I did a couple of ranked matches, won about 4 out of 10 of them that I played. Definitely need to continue to hit the lab. I've been in my summer blockbuster mode right now. I saw Spider-Verse. I'll be seeing Transformers later this week.
Nice.
Obviously, then you got Flash the following week, so I'm just in summer blockbuster mode now.
Yeah. It's some good movies, and as I said, games. It's just more and more of the games. And just everywhere you turn, there's games. I have to read this out because it's fun.
Hey, I heard Xbox got no games though. That's what I heard.
Hey, did you see Dredd goes, I pick farmer because I've got hoes in different area codes.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's crazy.
I've met his wife. She better not read that because I wouldn't mess with her. She will bury his body and they will never find it. Okay, he will be part of her. He will be part of her next haunted house unwillingly. Okay, people be like, he looks so real. She be like, yeah, doesn't he though?
Oh no, but no, you're not wrong, Josh. That's Spider-Man and Spider-Man, that was...
Go see probably, it, like chat. Go see it.
It's probably, arguably, the best animation I've seen in a long time. To be fair,
I think it's the best. Yeah, I think it's the best. It is hard to top that.
And then the third one. The third one.
Yeah, third one's coming out next year. Year, so like, excuse me, Shaq, definitely go see the Across the Spider-Verse film. You might need to see it twice because just so much in there. It's like just the Easter eggs is so much. I mean, they did a phenomenal job of just putting in the movie. I'm not gonna spoil it because it's still early, but just go see it. It's like literally if you remember how you felt when you went to go see Infinity War for the first time, it's like at times 10.
Yeah,
that's how great that movie is.
I've seen people go 11 out of 10, 12 out of 10. I'm like, yeah, for sure.
I gave it 100 out of 10.
100 out of 10. Yeah. It was really good. It was very, very good. Well worth to watch. And you probably better off seeing it twice, maybe even 3 times. I know the brother Neo, he's already going to go see it a second time already. He usually, if he likes a movie, he'll see it like 2 or 3 times. So
yeah, I know. I follow Neo on Twitter. Neo's a big like movie lover. So
yeah,
and I usually don't go see movies twice, but this is like I've only seen like Black Panther and Infinity War twice. This will be the third movie I've ever saw twice.
Yeah, if it hits right, it's worth seeing it twice.
Yeah.
And that way, if there is anything too that you may have missed the first time around, you'll pick up on it the second time around. And go, and then
yeah.
What did Dredd say? I gave it a hoe out of the garden. At least he's keeping the same energy, Paul. He's keeping the same energy.
Yep. Until she sees it, then the only energy he'll be on is the one that the respirator's keeping him alive with.
Okay, let's get into the topics of the evening. Where does the first one for the evening is where does the Bloodline storyline go from here? As we seen on SmackDown, at the pay-per-view first, we seen Jimmy kick Roman in the head twice, and then we seen, of course, what happened on SmackDown. Where there was a bit of a swerve. We thought initially or looked initially, I should say, that Solo was going to side with his brothers, and then bam, out of nowhere, he took down Jimmy Uso. So I'm going to start with you first, Josh. Where do you see this going from here?
They're still. They've clarified Roman is going to be at SummerSlam and Money in the Bank. He's got a lot more dates that he's working than originally planned. So this Bloodline story is about to really take off. It just broke like a bunch of like viewership records for Fox. So in terms of the storyline, let me actually start with that. So I think Money in the Bank, we talked about earlier before you went live, Spook, that I think we're probably gonna get a tag team match between the Usos against Roman and Solo. I personally would rather see Jimmy versus Roman in the main event for the title because I don't think Jimmy's ever wrestled for the world championship before. I could be wrong. You would someone have to fact check me on that. Maybe they did during the pandemic era, but since the storyline has now been focused, Jimmy has taken more of a a centerline focal point for the storyline, I think Jimmy should wrestle for the main title. Like, cause and I it's like I love the fact that WWE notices that they realize the storyline. We all know the Roman Championship run eventually has to end. Like, it's been too long with that, but they know that this storyline can still keep going. Like, we thought the Sammy storyline was the peak of it. They said, "Nah, we still got more. We still got more for you." So they had Jimmy now into the mix, who's always kind of been loyal to Roman since the start of the Bloodline. It's like, oh, it's a whole new layer now, and you got the solo factor.
Exactly, and as we've discussed before too, and we'll obviously talk about it too with this kind of lends itself in a later topic. I think they're definitely going with Roman toppling Hulk Hogan's record now. Because that SummerSlam match everybody was looking for is officially dead as of today, and news has come out. He might still have a match there, but I don't foresee him now dropping that title until sometime next year. That's for sure.
WrestleMania, I'm telling you, WrestleMania.
Yeah. And it's not. Yeah, but here's the thing. It's not going to be Cody. There's news coming out backstage that it won't be Cody. That Cody will not get any type of world title run until Roman's completely out of the picture. And by the seams of it, the early plans right now, because they're both pitched the idea, they both want it, is Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania next year, with Seth being the one to topple him. So
you can't be mad at it.
No. As we discussed before the show too, obviously by that time Seth will not be the world champion. And
don't do this. Have one guy holding both belts again. They need to stop that shit.
So he will.
I don't like that either.
He will drop it at some point to a heel, and then he will go take on Roman for his belt. He got a nice, pretty shiny belt that Triple H unveiled too on SmackDown. Basically, it just looked like both the titles he was holding, just more gold. And so, yeah.
That's actually a bitter disappointment, too.
It was, yeah. It was like, it did. It looked exactly the same as the two titles that he's currently holding. And it was just more, as I said, it was just more gold. And less, obviously blue and red that's on the other straps. But I thought they were going to change it up a little bit. I really did.
Yeah, a lot of people were expecting like the wing belt. I kind of expected that too.
Yeah,
like that. The more it's just they got to get better belt designs.
Yeah,
like I actually like the World Heavyweight Championship, but I'll say that I actually like that belt. It's not better than the original version, obviously, but it's a different looking belt. Most of their belts look the same. That's the issue.
Yeah, too samey. Just like I hope at some point they bring back the old school look of the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, like the white one that Cody used to wear.
Yeah.
That was fire. I don't like the new one at all.
Or they could even go even further back with the yellow IC title that Macho Man, I think, had at one stage. He had like a yellow strapped IC title, which looked pretty cool too. So it wasn't a ugly shade of yellow. So either way, it'd be cool just to sort of change it up. So each individual title looks different from the other. You know what I mean? So it'd be interesting. How about your thoughts, Paul? Where do you think they're going to go with this storyline? What do you think's going to happen from here on out?
I don't know, but I didn't know about the thing that Cody's not going to get a shot. What are they going to do with Cody? Because it almost sounds like they're screwing him over.
Basically, McMahon.
I know it's not the question you asked, but that makes me think. So they're going to basically, he's hot right now, and they're going to just kind of pass him over. It's kind of BS,
Well, I think they've decided that Seth Rollins is more over.
they're both retired. You want to like talk about like it's a lot of people feel like it should be Seth to dethrone Roman because Seth's waited so long. This is Steph's moment.
Yeah,
Like
and Roman hasn't pinned him.
yeah, that's the thing. Like that's where everybody's like, that's the storyline right there.
Yeah.
That at the end of the day, it's kind of like Rock.
Hang on real quick. Hi, Farrell. Bye, Farrell. Sorry you have to go to bed early. Yeah, we did notice you. It's nice to see you stop by, Farrell. Your buddy Farrell. He has to go to bed.
Little Farrell, yeah.
Oh, what's up, Farrell? But what was I saying? But nah, it's listen, everybody wants Cody to win. It's right now, it's the John Cena treatment. You remember when John Cena lost to The Rock at WrestleMania, and then they did it all over again the following year for him to win? That's basically what it is.
Well, but right now it does feel like they've basically thrown him under the rug, and it's like you really want to do that with one of your hottest properties? You know?
Well, at the moment, as I said, the other internal plan. This again, we're that far out, so we know plans can
and they always change too.
But the internal plan for Cody for WrestleMania next year is him against Gunther. That's the internal plan.
Why? Good God, that would be.
Gunther,
actually,
Gunther is pushing for it very, very hard. He is.
I'm about to say Gunther is actually hot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't be mad, and Gunther's a hell of a
I know,
wrestler.
but you know, like I've been talking to Spooky about this. That you know the way they pushed the whole. Can he do what his father never did at the last WrestleMania, and now they're just gonna blow past him. It just feels weird. It feels hackneyed, basically. It feels like they had a plan, then they went, okay, we're just gonna chuck all of that. We're good. Yeah.
Welcome to pro wrestling. Like what pro wrestling plan has ever gone 100% correct?
Put it this way. This is I can tell you right now, this is Vince's decision. Vince.
I was gonna say this has got to be a Vince thing because
he's treating Cody Rhodes like he treats anybody. Like Sting, like he treated Sting.
Right.
You know, Vince is very petty and he's very jealous. He's got something against Cody for going out and creating an opposing company.
And why bring him back? That's my thing. Like, why bring him back?
Yeah.
So you could stick it to him.
Basically,
that's a very Vince thing to do.
That's what he did with Sting. He got in Sting and he promised Sting, the world basically for a few matches, and then completely screwed him over.
As Sting wasn't going anywhere. Sting was really old, so that goes to this does make no sense to me. I don't know,
because the whole plan initially for Sting, wasn't that Triple H match initially. It was meant to be him against Undertaker. It was meant to be WWE's Phenom versus WCW's Phenom, and they dropped the ball on it and screwed him over. And he's talked about that in interviews, that he hated his time in WWE. He regrets even ever signing there. He goes, for years and years and years, I had this vibe that's why he never went. That they weren't going to use him correctly, and then he took that chance, obviously later in his career, and boy, oh boy, did his, how he thought about that company ended up happening. You know what I mean? Like, They weren't ever going to put him over in a match. He was a WCW guy. So.
And Vince does have, there's always been rumors of Vince. I believe it though. Vince, if you're from another company, Vince is going to break you down and turn you into a WWE person.
Yeah.
It just sucks. That's all. It just sucks.
Yeah.
And so talking about the Bloodline thing, I mean, so they're basically the whole thing between Cody and what's his name and Reigns is then basically just gonna wash away probably.
Yeah.
though I think.
Yeah, they're not. Put it this way, they're not, and I think it's clear as day now. Cody ain't getting one of those belts until.
Yeah.
Well, once obviously Seth's out of the world title picture, maybe he enters into the world title picture. But he ain't touching Reigns. And that's kind of evident now.
Well, isn't the world title technically the title that his dad won?
I'm trying to think now. I'm not sure. I think it might have been the WWWF title when it was 3 W's there.
Right.
Title. Yeah, back in the day, and he won it at a house show. And I just forget what the scenario was as to why they took it off him and they didn't count it. But yeah, it's interesting. They're pretty much doing what they did to Dusty, to Cody, and I had a feeling. But I mean, he will get it at some point, because it is in his contract that he will get a world title run.
But that's it's kind of half-assed to drag it out. Basically, it's forcing him to stay in the you want the world title run? Yeah, you got to stay here for 4 or 5 years before we're going to give you a shot.
Yeah. And I think he's still got 3 years left on his contract. Because I know he did an extension. So yeah, he just won't be the one to topple Roman, because Roman doesn't want him to topple him. He wants Seth to topple him, which is understandable. They came in together. They're friends, and it makes better sense. He's already beaten Cody. He hasn't beaten Seth. Seth pointed that out from a story perspective. You got many names on that list, but I'm not one of them. So he's the one that got away. He's the win that got away, and that story just kind of writes itself. But there's a lot of people that are against Cody too. Even fans don't really want to see him, because they're like, once he gets the world title, then what?
That has been a big conversation lately. I know what you're talking about too.
I think Cody Rhodes in WWE at the least is an upper mid card guy. I know he's over, but just in that company, he ain't a main eventer. He just not.
He wasn't a main eventer in AEW either.
No. And he did, but in saying,
I guess I don't get that, because I think they could be if they let him. I think he gets.
Well, okay. From what a lot of people say, Cody can talk on the mic, sure, but he's not the best wrestler. He's never been known as the best wrestler. He's decent. He's good. But he's always been carried by people.
I will say over the last few months, we haven't really got to see him really wrestle because of all this shit with the broken arm and whatever.
With in AEW, as we know, he did that to himself. Because he didn't want to come across like Triple H. Like, I'm in a position of power, so I'm going to put me. So he actually did that to himself. But he's not. He isn't a main eventer. He wasn't a main eventer in New Japan. Kenny, Okada, Jay White, all of those boys were well and truly ahead of him.
He wasn't a main eventer in Ring of Honor.
No, he certainly wasn't. So I think that he will beat someone else that's not really of note, like a Seth or a Roman. So it'll be like. Whoever the heel is that beats Seth, that'll probably be who Cody might go over. Because he ain't going to be touching the WWE Universal title, because that's going to be obviously at
Roman.
Roman and Seth. Yeah, Roman and Seth fighting over that. So,
unless Cody wins it somehow, then loses it again against Roman.
Does this mean we're actually going to start seeing Roman actually wrestle anytime soon?
Well,
he's actually
y'all keep saying y'all keep saying he's a main eventer, but if you really look at it, he hasn't really done a lot of matches lately.
Who? Roman? Roman's beyond a main eventer. Roman is like the main event for that company right now. He is the draw. He got the part schedule, but he is the draw, Paul. Like, he is that is.
But that's because that's what they're pushing. But I'm telling you that he hasn't been in the ring that much, and when he is, they're really not full-blown wrestling matches. They don't last that long. I mean, you're saying Cody doesn't know how to wrestle that well, but I mean, maybe Roman used to. But seriously, if you really look at his recent history, he, and I don't know why. I don't know if he's just getting lackadaisical or whatever, but or it's more about the story and less about the actual, wrestling. I don't know, but I mean, yeah, I like to watch him wrestle when he actually wrestles, and I'll say that about all of them. It's like that women's match they had a couple weeks ago where it lasted 3 minutes and there was almost no wrestling. What the hell was that match for? What?
Right. Yeah. So no, it'll be interesting. And as I said, we're going to get to that topic on Cody in a minute. Of what
I mean, watching Seth is fun. At least he's still,
where I think the Bloodline storyline is going to go, they're going to draw this out as long as they can. The Usos obviously the Usos are going to break off. It's going to be a lot slower burn before you see Solo Sikoa turn on him.
But are the Usos going to break off as a pair? Or are they going to break off and separate?
Yes.
Given,
I don't.
We don't know. That's the best part about the story. We still don't know.
I don't think they rehash this where they tease Jay, siding with who he should have sided with in Sammy kind of thing, because that's exactly how this storyline's playing out. I think he does actually side with his brother, and they've already got the plan set in stone that it will be those two versus Roman and Solo at Money in the Bank. Because
I could still see something twisting there too, because I still wouldn't totally trust Solo. I mean, seriously, the man's just waiting to burn.
Yeah, I just don't think they pulled the trigger that quick though. I think maybe Solo does something to Roman at next year's WrestleMania. Like they keep
long-term booking right there.
Yeah,
Spikes Roman.
Yeah. And I mean, I've already seen reports that it will be a slower burn there, splitting him off with Roman or splitting them two up. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yobi goes, Usos ain't breaking off. Jimmy broke off from Roman. It's up to Jay. Wake up and then slowly convince Solo it's a long road. Either we'll see the final at SummerSlam or it's all down the hill at WrestleMania. Yeah, I mean, I think that it might even at least the Uso part of it might actually culminate at SummerSlam. That's how long this will kind of play out. I have a feeling Roman and Solo will go over them at Money in the Bank, and then they'll come back and want more. You know what I mean? Because that you want to keep drawing out that storyline. So to do that, you got to have them. You got to have Roman and Solo beat them. So that's how I think that'll play out, and then you can continue that storyline on to SummerSlam, get another tag match going there. Because they're gonna.
Actually, they gotta stop doing the tag matches wrong, because at some point he does have to defend it again.
Yeah, I think he will. I just don't think. I think it'll be after Money in Bank and SummerSlam. I think they'll run this course with this, and then they'll get another, as I like to say, another chump for him to feed him. Yeah, they're not gonna, because we already know. As I said, we'll get on to the Cody thing in a minute because it came out this morning. He's already got Brock at SummerSlam, so.
That's one thing. That's one storyline I wish they would wrap up. I can't really handle much more Brock.
No, you got to get through Money in the Bank, dealing with it, and then SummerSlam it's going to finish. So,
if he's not wrestling at Money in the Bank, then I think it's most likely, what's the match going to be at SummerSlam? Because they keep teasing it's supposed to be some kind of special match.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, it's gonna be interesting either way with the Bloodline story. But the one thing I think that's kind of evident now is Roman ain't losing this until WrestleMania or Backlash next year. I think it might be after Backlash that he loses it, quite possibly, because even at WrestleMania next year, he still wouldn't have broken Hogan's record. I worked it out that he doesn't break Hogan's record until I think Backlash. So if that's the plan, which it definitely looks like it is, and I hope it is, because I can't stand Hulk Hogan. I want him.
Who can?
I want him probably as much as they do, erased from the history book. So I'm happy with them allowing Roman to do that. And then, I mean, that'll basically be 4 years as champion. You'll never see that in our lifetime again. Once it hits Backlash next year, I think it's the 4-year mark officially for him. So, I think this is long-term booking with this. And whether you hate him or you love him, people are just going to have to deal with him being the champ until at least, as I said, around Backlash next year. So then Seth's going to usurp him and take the titles. Which just makes sense.
It still works either way because Roman is, like I said, there's the draw. Like, people want to see Roman, whether it's wrestling or not. People want to see Roman. Like, the talk, the see the storyline, because Roman has just elevated himself as the premier guy of the WWE. It's been a long, like, when's the last time a heel was the premier guy? Like, he's the face of the company. When's the last time a heel was the face of the company for the WWE? It's been like forever. Yeah. So everybody wants to see him.
Yeah, you're right,
Yobi. They can't get it right. They can't enough get his character. What the Yobi say?
He reckons that he has to drop the belt at one of the major. Now, if that is the case, they'll have to wait till SummerSlam next year because, as I said, he wouldn't have broken Hogan's record come WrestleMania next year. And if they want him to beat Hogan's record, then he'll have to hold it until next SummerSlam, which is still possible. You just have to find ways to keep drawing it out, keep it fresh. And
that's what gets me. I kind of don't like knowing that they're going to try to forcibly draw it out that long because it takes any of the suspense away. Okay,
it does,
we go again.
But they really want, and as I said, you're not going to see this long run again. They really want him to take Hogan out there because they're looking at rewriting. They've already rewritten several of their history books records, and they want him to, take out Hogan from the history. So, if like Yobi said, if it makes it more significant for him to drop it at a major pay-per-view, then he ain't dropping it until SummerSlam next year. Because, as I said, he can't drop it at WrestleMania because he'd still be short of Hogan's record. I think a good month or 2 months short of it. So he'll have to continue on until SummerSlam, which would be fantastic. As I said, you're not going to see this again. They're only doing this with him because it's working. It's the hottest storyline in WWE right now. It's not,
hottest storyline in wrestling.
Yeah.
Nobody is doing this.
So yeah, man. Yeah. Sammy, he is. Sammy's still quite a big part of the story, Yobi. You're not wrong. So don't be surprised if Roman holds this until SummerSlam next year. Don't be surprised at all. It wouldn't be a shock to me. And as I said, if and I agree with you, it has to be a significant place where he loses it. You don't want to do it on one of the lesser pay-per-views. So Rikishi's meant to be brought into this story at some point, obviously, because it involves his sons. Maybe they bring him in to try and get through to to get through to Solo, and then Solo spikes his dad, and then his brother.
From what I can tell, they would have to pay Rikishi's bills, so
yeah,
and he ain't gonna go cheap.
I think
we talked about that last week after the show.
I think personally, the boat sailed on the Rock. I don't think they involve him.
No, that's over. Especially that he announced he's got like a Fast and Furious spinoff coming. It's like, all right, bro, that's over. I don't got time for this.
Yeah, he's earning too much money. I don't think he wants to waste his time getting in ring shape. He did. If he did, he would have done it this year because we all know that the long-term plan for a while was for Roman and Rock at this WrestleMania, and Rock turned him down and said, "Look, I might look $1 million, but I'm not in ring shape, not even close." And there's a big difference between looking like $1 million and being in the gym and getting in the ring shape. So, I think the boat sailed on the Rock idea. As I said, I think Rikishi gets brought into it, as I said, only because I've seen him on Twitter getting involved in the storyline with a couple of tweets. Maybe some others from their family some old school wrestlers get involved as well.
I can see Tamina and all of them, like the females.
Yeah,
as
you've
well.
got a big lineage there.
Like it's the lineage shit at this point.
But yeah, I mean they could if he's ever got the time, but just bring him in, maybe not to wrestle, just as another layer. But it all will come down to his work schedule, and he ain't turning down that movie money because I don't care how much Vince offers him. It'll never be as much as what he can make off one single movie, and he's mentioned that before. He makes more money off a single movie than he ever did in a whole year of his wrestling career. So, he owes nothing. He doesn't owe that sport anything anymore. He's been
he gave it his all.
He gave it his all. And that was when he was in the prime of his career. I still love seeing him come back like the next person. Don't get me wrong. Who doesn't love to see The Rock? But
as long as it means something, I mean, like I'm just going to take it as like the Sabu shit was a waste of time for Double or Nothing. Like that was a waste of time.
I will say this: Chris Jericho is still a 10 times better wrestler than him at the same sort of similar age as The Rock. The Rock ain't what he used to be, whereas Chris Jericho. Oh, yeah. But as I said, the big difference is Jericho hasn't stopped. Rock went off into Hollywood, Even John Cena came out recently and said he doesn't foresee himself getting in the ring again. Because
I could see that easily. I mean, it's time for John to retire.
Yeah, and that match at WrestleMania left a little to be decided, so. But anyway,
that was it's time to pack it up match.
Yes, it was. I was actually quite disappointed in that. I actually thought it was going to.
Yeah, I don't mind when the older guys come back and do special things like special referees or stuff like that, just to kind of
So now
give a nod to this is where I came from, and the fans still like to see him.
The only problem is if he come back as a special referee and screwed Roman, then people are going to be expecting a match. You know what I mean? So I don't even think I'd want to see him as a special referee, just like come in and, head of the table. Motherfucker, I'm the head of the table. Like, because I did have that back and forth a while back where Rock said, he goes, he could think he's the head of the table as much as he wants. He ain't the head of the table. I'm the head of the table, so
yeah.
It was just a bit of a playful thing, I think, between family. But moving on to the next subject of the evening, the next topic of the evening, AEW New Japan Forbidden Door speculation.
Woo!
Yeah.
You already got 2 confirmed matches.
Well, yes. I was just about to mention, Bryan Danielson has challenged Okada to a match at Forbidden Door.
This man said, Brian.
Yeah, Brian. Oh, man. Can you imagine that match if Okada accepts that?
I think he already accepted. That's the thing. So I think that's official for Forbidden Door that we got Okada and Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson don't even care about winning titles at this point. Bryan Danielson is just worried about making dream matches a reality.
Well, Danielson said, for the last 10 years, I've heard people talk about how great you are, how you're the best wrestler of this generation. I've also heard in interviews you've said that you want to wrestle me, that you want to fight me. Watching you, you're good. I know you're good, but I am the litmus test of great, Danielson said. He said, you want to wrestle me? You call yourself the Rainmaker? Well, you step in the ring with me and you're going to, excuse the language, but it's Danielson's words, you're going to get into your fucking desert.
Hang on, before you go on, that's called motherfucking bars.
Yes.
That's called bars.
He goes, and there ain't going to be no rain.
Bars.
Oh, and you're right, yes. So Okada has officially earlier today accepted Danielson's challenge for a singles match, and it comes after the AEW Stars teammates at this weekend's Dominion show took him on, obviously, which the event saw the Rainmaker team with Tomohiro Ishii and Tanahashi to retain the never open weight 6-man tag team championship against Moxley, Claudio, and Umino. So that one's official. What's the other match that you've heard? Josh, that you've heard definitely take place?
And you guys didn't hear about this one? Oh my God. We're at Forbidden Door. We got probably the rematch of the match of the year, which happened in January at Wrestle Kingdom between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay.
Yes.
That is Forbidden Door 2. So everybody's already at this point saying like, yo, that's got to be the main event because they screwed it up at Wrestle Kingdom not making that match the main event. Everybody is waiting for this match to happen. So it's like I know you're a big MJF fan, man, Spook. So am I. I don't think MJF is going to be on this card. There's no room for him already. Like if we're going to get Okada and Danielson, and now we got Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. I don't know how you fit your world champion who's not really doing what well in terms of the ratings on a card that already looks to be stacked.
There's one.
That's just two matches.
I think it'd be a little notch on his belt. Him against Tanahashi.
Tanahashi will be cool.
MJF.
Tanahashi will be cool.
Yeah. Because, MJF, and it kind of works. Story from.
It can't be the main. It can't be the main event. It can't be the main event. That's all.
But it kind of works from a story. You know how he's gone on. I'm the best in the world. I'm the best world champion. Rah rah. And we all know that one of the best, and he's had a legendary run in New Japan, multiple time world champion in Tanahashi. I just think that kind of writes itself. You could stick him at the very opening match, even. Which MJF has said he doesn't care. He doesn't care if he goes first, middle of the card, last, whatever. So if he is on that card, that's the only matchup I can foresee for him. That makes sense, is against Tanahashi. And so that's a possibility. It's a match I would like to see because Tanahashi, I think, would bring even more out of MJF, and he'll also make MJF look good because he's a hell of a seller as well. We'll come across to you anyway, Josh, since you were talking about Ospreay and that. What other matches would you like to see at this point?
Man, if Mercedes wasn't hurt, I'd definitely like to see Mercedes. Definitely, probably it. I'm gonna do like I know I wasn't here for Double or Nothing review. Tony Storm won. We all did not want that, obviously. I don't even know who you put her up against, in fact, at Forbidden Door. But in terms of other matches, oh my gosh. I think Moxley versus Ishii would go crazy too. I think no. Dag. I would have liked Kaneshka taking on somebody too. Like Kota Ibushi, actually. Kaneshka versus Kota Ibushi at Forbidden Door would be dope. I'll actually say that would probably be my biggest one. Kaneshka versus Kota Ibushi.
Yeah. And
especially that they're saying like Kota was coming.
Yeah. I want to see Jeff Cobb in a match. I'm just trying to...
Jeff Cobb, yeah.
I'm just trying to think who would be... Maybe even Moxley against Jeff Cobb. I could see that. Or even Jeff Cobb versus Claudio. Just because of their styles. Kind of match up there.
What about... No, they already did. I was about to say...
To quote Diana Prince or Darcy the Mail Girl, fuck Claudio. She's not a big Claudio fan. Yeah.
I think
that's fun though.
Maybe from a women's perspective, I know Mercedes is hurt, but maybe Kyrie comes across and...
I don't know. They've been saying Kyrie's been kind of like to make a decision on what she's about to do for her future. Some people are speculating WWE. Others are speculating she'll stay with obviously New Japan or go to AEW. Like, I don't know what's going on with Kyrie right now.
No, so I think we may... the only thing that would stop it, obviously, would be if she was going to go to WWE. But I think her against Toni Storm, hopefully they have her go over Toni Storm too, because I just cannot stand Toni Storm. I can't stand her. Like, she can't talk on a mic, and she's not even really that good in the ring. But you know, you got to have some of the New Japan. You can't just have all AEW talent go over them.
Yeah, but
So-
it's kind of strange because most of the New Japan is in AEW.
Obviously, we know. I dare say this is probably a given that Willow will defend her New Japan Strong title there. I just don't know
Willow's
who
definitely
against. So it'll be interesting to see who that would be against. It'd probably be someone from Stardom, that's for sure.
Gail, what's her name? Guile or Gilly?
Yeah.
I said Guile.
Yeah, I can't
Gilly
pronounce.
or
I know
something
who
like
you're
that?
talking about. Yeah, I can't really pronounce the name too, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Like, I think that will be one. I'm trying to think because most of the New Japan people are in AEW. Maybe Zack Sabre Jr. He'll probably wrestle for the. What did he? Oh yeah, he had the New Japan TV title, so he'll definitely wrestle.
Yeah.
But I don't know who he wrestles against.
No, I know what you're talking about, Yobi. I just don't think there's a lot more better women wrestlers than her, and she's sloppy. Like Jamie Hayter herself is
Jamie Hayter's
better
probably
than
the
her.
best one outside
Yeah.
of Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa, yeah, they're just better talent. Like she's boring. Like for me personally, anyway. Maybe not for someone else. You know, there might be fans of her, but Tony Storm's
When you
just
think-
boring for me. You know what I mean? Like
I'm about to say, when you think about her matches, she had wrestled against a lot of good people. Like
Yes.
she wrestled against Serena Deeb, I believe her name was.
yes.
She wrestled against Jamie Hayter, obviously. Like she's wrestled good people that are
make her
like
look
arguing.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we say that a lot about a lot of wrestlers who think are good, but it's like no, they wrestle against people who make them look good.
No, he's still part of New Japan, bro. So he'll be there too. He's insane, Zack Sabre Jr. He's currently.
Oh yeah, definitely Zack Sabre.
He's what championship? He just defended it on Rampage, which was
It's
actually
it's the New Japan TV title, something like that. Ain't it?
yeah. That whole Rampage over the weekend too. Just of note, was all Bryan Danielson. That whole
Yeah.
Bryan Danielson. Yeah,
He's got a future as a promoter, if not a booker.
Yeah, he's very much a part of creative now. And I'm glad because he got rave reviews when he was a part of creative for WWE. So
Yeah, and
Ibushi-
that's a Vince dude too.
yes, Yobi, yes, bro. Ibushi's
Kodo-
got to be there
I think it's gonna be Kodo against Konechka
because
that's
they're gonna.
help build the story for Black Bull and Elite.
Yeah, they're gonna build that up to the blood and guts match at the following pay-per-view. So Ibushi, I think's got to definitely be there. So you're gonna get some fantastic matchups. That's why I love this cross promotion between the two. I even love the cross promotion between AEW and Conan's AAA. You just get so many.
Vikingo.
He's another one I could actually see at this pay-per-view. I know he's not a part of New Japan, but he has wrestled in New Japan before. He's wrestled matches for bloody nearly every promotion except for WWE. I could see him wrestling one of their high-flying young dragons from the LA dojo. He's just insane. He is just insane. That guy's talent, yeah, is out of this world. Is out of this world. Wrestling talent alone and just what he can do in that ring is just insane.
Best high flyer in the business right now, Sam.
Oh, easy.
There's
Nobody
nobody can touch him.
I'd even go as far as to say I know for me personally, he's a top 5 wrestler in the world. I'm just talking about wrestling ability. We're not talking about on the mic for anything like that. We're just talking about in that ring, entertaining wise and what he can do. He has to be a top 5. You know, some might say at least top 10, but definitely wouldn't be out of top 10 wrestlers in the world. That kid's just, yeah, damn. Damn. Yeah.
Like it's just like he does some crazy stuff.
He does. He does.
Like, just go watch him. Just go look up a Vikingo highlight.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. Just go watch the match with Kenny Omega. Like that was
yeah.
crazy. He started on Omega as Omega was making his entrance. Like, didn't even let Kenny get out. Get ready. That thing just flew right at him.
By the way, if you're wondering why I'm not speaking of this much, because I still don't know a lot of those wrestlers. I really don't. You know, because I'm relatively new to the AEW thing. So
yeah, that's.
I like watching their shows and I'm learning who's who, but you know,
But no, it's going to be an insane pay-per-view. It generally always is a very good pay-per-view, and this obviously will lead into All In.
All in.
Yeah. You know, so they're definitely going to set some things up for All In at this pay-per-view. Yeah, that's where we're moving right onto that topic now, Yobi. You beat me to it. So, moving right along for the third topic of the evening. So, after 19 long years, Owen Hart is finally in a wrestling video game once again. And it's interesting because no one thought they'd ever see him again. I think the last game he was in was Showdown, 2004 Showdown Legends of Wrestling, right? And he was in that. He was featured as a former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. So he will be available through the game's many modes in AEW Fight Forever, which comes out later this month. And I know there was a guy, I just forget who it was, but there was a guy on YouTube in the last few days that shared a look. I think it was also on Twitter as well. You know, so it's literally insane to see this man in a wrestling game. As we all know, he tragically passed away in May of 1999, falling to his death in a rappelling stunt gone tragically awry when the carabiner that secured him to his wire unlatched, and he was only 34 years of age. Martha Hart obviously blamed WWE. She still has a lot of disdain for that company, hence why they had to completely wipe any footage and everything that they had on him. That was all her doing. And nobody, Owen Hart is one of my all-time favourites. I never, in my wildest dreams, thought I would ever see anything, memorabilia-wise, footage-wise, anything ever again. Because it was all up to Martha. I know her and Bret Hart had many disagreement arguments over the years over that. Obviously, Bret being his brother, saying, you know, fans deserve to be able to remember him and stuff like that. But she had her reasons. Yeah. And I fully agree. After the way, we've talked about this before, after the way Vince handled that, and he cared about the dollar more than what actually happened, as well as the wrestlers that followed that. But that whole rest of that pay was just disgusting. It just was, to disregard a human life like that. So I don't blame her for holding that grudge. I don't blame her at all. I agree, Yobi. I don't blame her at all. That was her husband. It was a kid's father. No, he wasn't just a wrestler, as we know. He was a brother, he was a husband, he was a father. And I obviously, over the years, and I'm guessing once AEW was created, Tony reached out. They obviously had talks. She obviously felt comfortable. And I was so happy that, you know, being a Hart fan, that, you know, she's allowed this now. You know, they've got the Owen Hart Cup now. And
right.
Then, you know, they can use a lot of old pre-WWE footage of him, which was a lot of New Japan stuff. Because that's where he wrestled a lot, other than Canada, before he made it to the WWE. And it's great to see just that recognition for him. And, you know, for him to have a shine and be introduced to a new crowd, obviously. But, yeah, now he's going to be in this video game. And he has got, I've seen the footage. It is his New Japan attire from way back.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, though, because you said it's going to be introduced to a new generation.
Yeah.
And then they're going to go, well, what happened to this guy? And they're going to look up his Wikipedia, and they're going to, you know.
Yeah.
Then they're going to look up the pay-per-view, which is available. I actually watched it recently, and I noticed toward the end of the show, I'm just going to throw this out there, they show a shot of the ring on one of the corners, and you can see where there was, I hate to say, there was a shitload of blood. So you can see that there were signs of what happened.
Yeah.
You know, where those poor wrestlers had to go out there and had to wrestle where they could see this is where this is where Owen fell. This is where our friend,
Dr. Martha, she actually won a civil case against WWE for negligence in his death. And as I said, that she's not allowed his image to be used, obviously outside of the 2004 video game, which had nothing to do with WWE. So this is amazing. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Because outside...
It is that she finally feels comfortable. She's letting them honor him as well with that award, that Owen Hart, you know.
Because that's the one thing Brett wanted for years. And I could see Brett's point too. Like, don't get me wrong, he was as pissed off as her too that what happened with his death, right? But he didn't want... Because Owen loved wrestling. Lived, breathed it, you know. He loved his family too, obviously, but he loved wrestling. And Brett...
When we talked about this too, with all the Harts, it was in their blood. Literally, they had a basement. They had the dungeon underneath their property.
But Brett just didn't think it was fair that, you know, his memory was, you know, being sort of held away from everybody in that. And, you know, again, they both had great points. But I'm with Yobi. I don't blame her, you know, that...
No, I don't blame her one bit.
It would have crushed her.
Me neither.
And as I said, Vince didn't. There's no way around it. He didn't give two shits. If he did, he would have stopped that pay-per-view. That would have been the right thing to do. And he didn't. And it's not just Martha and the kids. I feel, as I've said many times, I felt sorry for Jerry Lawler and JR. I felt sorry for every wrestler that had. I mean, how you go out. Because you're friends with this man. How you go out and perform after something like that. And especially when they actually got the call to say that, he's gone. That's just inhumane. But, hey, we're getting to play him again. Like Yobi said, he looks fantastic. He does. He looks really, really good. So spot on. And... It's just going to be great to play as him in a video game. Before this, you could only create him, right? So this is going to be awesome. How about you, Josh? What's your feeling? You can't wait to be able to play as Owen Hart?
Owen Hart definitely before my time. Obviously, I do know the story, his history, and his love for wrestling. I'm excited, you know, that he is in the game. I've been excited. I'm excited that AEW has found a way to treasure his memory of being, you know, the love of wrestling. So I'm excited. It's just excitement. It's just like you're just glad to see it. Hopefully he turns out great. Like Yobi said, I think he does look great. I haven't seen any great gameplay of it as of yet. Of him anyway. I know they're starting to put out more gameplay of the game, but I'm excited. Like I want to see what the style is all about.
Yeah, for sure. And you're right, Yobi. I'm pretty damn sure it is crossplay too.
Yep.
I think that's what
I really wish it was coming out before it was, because I'm gonna, you know, in about a week I'm gonna have a chance to meet Bret Hart.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Exactly. Would have been nice, you know. And
yeah.
But hey, you can at least ask him, you know, how you feel about your brother being remembered and
Spook.
you know.
Yeah.
Spook, I'll be right back. Give me a sec. I'll be right back.
You're good, bro.
I'm really hoping he's one of the ones I might be able to set up an interview with. That would be so awesome.
It would, man. It would. He'd have some stories too, man. He'd have some stories.
Yep.
Just don't ask him about Goldberg. Oh man, every time that gets brought up with him, or you can.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't bring that up.
Yeah, the anger that comes out. I don't blame him. I'd be pissed off. Someone cost me nearly $20 million too.
Yeah.
So I don't. Well, apart from that, and he wasn't ready. You know, he wasn't ready to hang it up. He still had some years left. You know, so not only did he cost him money, he took away his career. So, but moving right along, obviously. Here we go. I said earlier we were going to get into this. The direction of Cody Rhodes. So it came out, it was reported by Wrestling Inc. this morning that Brock Lesnar and Cody's third match is scheduled for SummerSlam. Obviously, he picked up the victory at the last pay-per-view after getting Cody's broken arm, broken in quotation marks there. I don't know if it's actually broken or not. But and making him pass out in the Kimura lock, which was the second.
Which was a lousy way to end a match. It
was. I think they were trying to steal a page out of Austin versus Bret Hart, but I was like, Austin was bleeding, so it kind of made sense. He was bleeding really badly. So that made more sense, him passing out in the sharpshooter.
I can't see Cody actually getting choked out, or no, I just don't see that happening. But to me, it didn't work. It didn't work for me. So I'm just saying it didn't.
No, and so we knew instantly with that there was going to be a rubber match, and Cody came out the next night on Raw and called him out, issued the challenge. Obviously, like Josh has alluded to, this is supposed to be completely, utterly different from their first two matches. I don't know exactly what they're going to do yet for it, but I know, like Josh said, there was talks of a dog collar match, but Brock knocked it back. And there's even a word going around of possibly 3 stages of hell match for the two of them. If they're going to do the 3 stages of hell, I'd love to see them bring back WCW's 3-tiered cage. Do you remember that 3-tiered cage WCW?
Yeah. Oh, that was awesome. Yeah.
And have Brock and Cody go in that would be a great way to finish the storyline, because obviously, they don't have the greatest chemistry. That's kind of evident when you watch their match.
No.
You mentioned
I do think that something like that would work out well, or some kind of no holds barred type match, because I think part of it is Cody has set up his character that he doesn't necessarily break the rules, and you've got Brock that there are no rules. Yeah.
You could, if you have that 3-tier cage like WCW, you could have Cody do something where Brock falls through the cage, boom, boom, boom. I'll be like, damn.
Which is always fun to watch.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too. We've seen that with some of the bigger guys. I don't know if these two guys are big enough to cause the cage to collapse, realistically.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No, you're good, John.
But yeah, I'd like to see one of them go through 3 stories down.
Yeah. So that would be insane. Obviously, I think it's pretty clear that Cody will win the rubber match, because otherwise they're just going to draw the storyline out again. So they have to have him win this now. He's making it clear that he's not afraid of the Beast, but the Beast is afraid of him. That's what he came out and said on Raw. What's your thoughts on this, Josh? What do you think?
The rubber match between Cody and Brock?
Yeah.
I expected it, especially after Brock won that match against that Night of Champions. So I think it's going to be a very interesting. I'm just interested in what the match stipulation is.
Yeah. And where do you think the direction after it goes? Well, as we clearly see, I don't know if they know what they want to do with him after this.
Yeah, I don't. I think they're starting to that decision of putting the belt on Cody, not putting the belt on Cody at WrestleMania, and it's tough. It's so tough because Roman was so close to 1,000 days that it's like, we never seen this before.
Yep. And on the other hand, as we said, like we all thought, and there was a lot of us that thought, okay, it'll happen at SummerSlam. Now it's not going now. That's gone.
Yeah, it's I don't know what do you do with Cody at this. I really don't.
No.
I don't know who you put him up against. Do you start building for a Steph match possibly? I don't think that's the decision.
No, I think it's going to lead. I think it's going to lead to the match that Gunther wants. He's been calling for. I mean, he obviously wants Brock Lesnar.
Well, are you talking about Cody? Are you talking about Cody Gunther? Or are you talking about Brock? Because Gunther wants Brock too.
Yeah, here's the cave. He wants Brock in the UK.
Yeah, now I think that actually, I wouldn't be mad if you want to do that like that. Let it be a Money in the Bank type match too. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah. But yeah, Gunther wants 2 matches. He wants Cody and he wants Brock.
Because Gunther's like Gunther's their main. Gunther's like going to be their main guy like for the next 5 to 6 years.
Maybe they have Cody beating for the Intercontinental title.
Has Gunther won? Has Gunther been pinned yet? Because he just played Kevin Owens today.
So.
I mean, he just wrestled Kevin Owens today. They say they had a banger from what the timeline's saying. So
I don't think he has. I mean, off the top of my head, if he has been pinned, it may have been in a tag match, which we know they don't count towards the singles. But I don't think he has as a singles guy. Not since he came up to the main roster anyway. We know he got pinned in NXT, but yeah, I don't think he has. But this is the thing, like, the plan really kind of seems, and I think if they both want it, WWE's going to stick with it, that Roman and Seth are going to be the match. So Cody's really out of the both title pictures right now. So, and I don't know how or when he gets back into the one of the top titles. And obviously, if Seth is the one that's being penciled in to dethrone Roman, this kind of sucks for Cody because he was promised something and now he's kind of being screwed over. Obviously, as I said,
Vince has never done that before. Like Vince has never done that before.
And even so, like, as I said, it was written in his contract he'll get a world title run. Didn't say when, didn't say who against. It just said he will get a world title run at some point. He's still got 3 years left, so it could happen anytime over these 3 years. And I think
it's probably going to be next year. Vince
is probably looking at it like, yeah, you ain't going to beat Roman Reigns. I'm not. That's probably a Vince to say, you are not beating Roman. You're not going to make a name for yourself outside my company. You're not going to go create an opposition company and then come back here and think you're going to topple my biggest star. No, not going to happen. I actually think
I don't know what to do.
What I didn't want to see happen, I don't even think he touches that Universal Championship. I think if they're going to give him a world title run, it's going to be with the new world title at some point. And he's just going to have to suck it up and deal with it. Because, again, in that contract, it says world title. That didn't stipulate which world title. And obviously when he got signed, they didn't even have this world title there, right? So, yeah, you're going to get the constellation prize. That's about the best you're going to get. And don't know if anybody knew, but Vince is backstage at Raw today. Kind of makes sense.
Yes.
They're in Connecticut, though.
I kind of figured that too when I found out they was in Connecticut. But from what it does say, it doesn't seem like a whole lot of change. In the fact, it says the timeline. It was like they've been having banger matches. I mean, they had Kate and Katana from NXT debut. Stephen, and what's my man name? Damian Priest are wrestling tonight.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens and Gunther said everybody saying they had a banger of a match, which is not shocking at all because it's Kevin Owens and Gunther.
Right.
But it seems like it's a great Raw tonight.
Yeah. Top to bottom.
I've been watching it while we've been talking. So far, it's been pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Usually
they're
can't be mad at it.
We know they're a bit hit and miss with their show. Like, you can get a fantastic show, but then the following week it might be a bit, it just all depends.
We haven't forgiven Vince for that WrestleMania.
Yeah. Don't remind me.
That was brutal.
You knew instantly that Triple H, he had nothing.
Was not
to do
in control.
That.
Like,
yep.
That's the thing. Like, that's the thing you could tell between all three of them: Tony Khan, Triple H, and Vince. You know how all three of them book. Tony Khan has like 2 different booking styles, on more so than Triple H does. Like, Tony Khan has a fantasy booking, and then I have to really book a show. Fantasy booking, is like Ring of Honor to me. Ring of Honor is all fantasy booking. It's like I'm giving you all these crazy wrestlers from all over the world against all these people, and it's like fan service type booking. versus Dynamite sometimes, where Dynamite is either a hit or a miss. Sometimes Dynamite would be a fire show depending on how they book the card. If you can always tell with how Dynamite's going to go. As in this week, Dynamite is probably going to be good because they got Swerve versus Orange Cassidy for the title. It seems like, and there's going to be a couple good matches. So you can always tell how Tony Khan's show is going to be depending on how he books versus how Triple H is, because Triple H doesn't tell you what matches are going to be on the card till the night of the card.
Right.
So it's even Vince was kind of like that too.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a bit dumbfounded at what they're doing, but I don't think they really know what they're going to do with Cody Rhodes. Outside of having this third match with Brock, once that's done, I don't think they have any clue of what direction they're going in. I really don't.
Me neither. I really don't, because you got Steph with the world title, you got Roman with the undisputed world title. It's at this point, it's like, well, we both know unless Cody wants to quote unquote finish the story, he has to beat Roman. Well, he's not beating Roman anytime soon, because if the plans is for Roman to take out Hulk Hogan record, which nobody's gonna be mad, including me, because Hulk Hogan said the N-word. I don't support Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's just like, what do you do after this?
Yeah,
you have it. Do you put him in a storyline with LA Knight? Probably, maybe. I like LA Knight could do it.
Yeah,
but do you put him in? Well, I don't think he's going to be in the Money Bank ladder match, as far as I know. But I don't know what you do.
I think maybe, as I said, I think maybe there's internal plans to get him in a storyline with Gunther. That'd be the only thing I can really see at the moment. And
I will say that will probably be the best decision, because I can't think of anyone else.
Have him win the Intercontinental title first, so he's at least got some sort of title, and then that helps build him back up, and then at some point, he goes after the world title.
Can I ask y'all both a question? When I know we talk about like Cody might be getting screwed over, I sometimes find it hard to believe, and other times I believe it. God, crap, my controller's about to die. But I agree with you both, and I also disagree, because I remember when AJ Styles came in, and AJ Styles was an Impact dude. Yeah. AJ Styles was over through the roof to the point they put him in a championship match within a year.
Yeah,
and he won the world championship within a year.
But I'll come back at you with one thing. AJ Styles could wrestle circles around Cody Rhodes in his sleep.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So I think that helped with AJ Styles. He's just a tenfold better wrestler. Cody, Cody's a lot better than what he initially was. That I'll give him. But there's a lot.
But he's still not who he thinks he is.
No. There's a lot of fans that find him boring.
Boring?
Yeah.
I know a couple.
Yeah, he's can sell you on a match and everything. He can get that hype for you, but when it comes to the match, then people are nearly falling asleep. You know what I'm saying?
We're going to be having this conversation with a certain somebody come Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, he could sell the match, but when it's time to show up and you gotta run with the big horses, can you do it? And he can't. Cody can't run with the horses as much as we think. He can hang, but he can't run with them. Like, Roman can run, Seth can run, Finn Balor can run, AJ can run. It's still at his age. He can still go.
Yeah.
Kenny can go. Moxley can go. You got to be able to go with these dudes.
Yeah, exactly. And see, these are all guys that you'd have well and truly ahead of Cody Rhodes. I know we've mentioned names that are in, obviously, AEW, but he's just not on that level. As I said, I view him as more of an upper mid-card guy. He wrestles in a main event here and there kind of thing, sort of like what they do with The Miz. Miz is not a main eventer, he's an upper mid-card guy. He gets his main event shine every now and then, but the only reason he's got, I think they've even given him runs, is just more out of his loyalty, and I'm
about to say Miz is a very loyal individual, but he's also upped his work rate too.
Yes,
he's also very much upped his work rate.
So that last match with Ricochet, because Ricochet, he heard He heard the noise from fans like, you can't wrestle. And
Yeah,
then
for
he
years.
showed out. He showed out, man. He even did a
I
hurricane
mean,
run and everything. I was like, oh.
I was like, it's like, this is the Miz? And
That
I've
was-
always been a big Miz fan. Like, I don't even
was-
care what nobody say. Miz is a Hall of Famer. Miz has
in my
been a
opinion,
smart wrestler. But I was like, yo, to see this, I was like, at this point of Miz's state, this point of his career, where we all know he could leave whenever he wants and call it a career and go get inducted in the Hall of Fame within 5 years. To see that, I was like, holy shit.
Hey, what's good, Rock?
Damn, what's up, good Rock? What's good, Rock? I was like, damn.
That
That
was
is
the best
crazy.
match I've seen from him ever. That match with Ricochet was the
Me too.
Yeah, like just from a wrestling I was like, wow, where's this been? Like, he really wanted to prove his doubters wrong, you know, and I think he heard a little bit of noise lately, and that's why
Yes.
he put on a clinic.
Especially
that move
now
in the corner.
lately.
The move in the
Oh,
corner.
my God.
Oh, man, I was like, holy
It went the transition from the Hurricanrana to the Big Boo. I was like, wait, hold up. Like, this dude is working today.
Yeah. Let's send him over to New Japan now. Let's send him to New Japan. He put on a good match with somebody.
But it might be because of what we've been talking about, the noise that a lot of people say the Miz can't wrestle. I think I think he really is a super safe worker, but he has a lot of respect from a lot of his colleagues. That no matter who you say, like they will all say the same thing. Miz is such a safe worker that you can't really do a lot of the stuff that you want to do with the Miz because he doesn't want to get hurt. Right. But it's like Miz is a trusted dude. He'll keep you safe. Yeah, he can carry the story. He does whatever he needs to do for the business. He loves it, and especially if you know about the story, him.
I was just gonna say he's been a great spokesperson for them over the years too.
I mean, like face of the company person, doesn't get in trouble, doesn't get any PE, doesn't do the drugs. I mean, got a beautiful family, great father. I mean, this one at the end of the stage, at the end of the day, if you talk about his life story, Miz has like one of the greatest wrestling life stories ever, from what he was back then to what he is now.
Well, look where he came from. He came from the real world, and because he came from that reality show, that's why he had a hard time when he first entered the business. And a lot of the wrestlers backstage didn't like him, and didn't give him any credit, didn't think he was going to do any good. I think Undertaker may have been one of the only few that sort of took him under his wing and sort of gave him a chance and said, you put in the hard work, you can make something. And then look at him today. And I hope he gets another world title run or universal title run before he retires. I think he's earned that. What is he now? Already a 3-time world champion or 4-time world champion, something like that. So I'd love to see him get one more run at some point before he does retire. He's obviously got some years left, I think, before he hangs it up. I know he's in his 40s now, but he's $1 million. He's stays healthy. He's consistent. And it'd be like a Mark Henry kind of thing, like thank you for your service kind of thing. Here's another run, It doesn't even have to be for long, you give it to him for 3 months. What do they call it? What do they call it? Like a champion before you pass it on to somebody else. But yeah, that...
Damn, it's real, bro.
That type of guy, but yeah, All right, moving into the second last topic of the this one got spicy. This one got real spicy. So anybody that watched SmackDown saw what Lacey Evans came out in, right? So she's fired back at Sergeant Slaughter's daughter, who criticised her all over Twitter, and they had a massive back and forth. Her ring gear was militaristic ring gear, captured some people's attention, including, obviously, the daughter of Sergeant Slaughter. She sported a camouflage outfit with a very similar hat to what Sarge wore, and it just reminded people of Slaughter's attire, what he wore in his heyday. Furthermore, the Hall of Fame's daughter noticed the similarities between her dad's and Evans' gear, and she proceeded to call out the SmackDown superstar on Twitter. So, excuse the language, but I'm just quoting his daughter here. No, this is not okay at WWE. Who the who the fuck does Lacey Evans think she is? There's only one Sergeant Slaughter. There's only one Slaughter daughter, and she's just a poser. Evans, of course, was quick to respond with a tweet of her own in which she praised the Hall of Famer before challenging his daughter to a fight. Your daddy's biggest fan, a United States Marine, and a bad motherfucker. Evans wrote, followed by an American flag emoji. She goes, you know who I am and where I am? Come find me. So it remains to be seen if Sarge's daughter is going to accept the challenge. The SmackDown star Lacey Evans certainly isn't short on potential opponents to face now that she's actually back in action. I don't know if you two boys seen this, but I'll come across to you first, Paul. Your thoughts on this?
I hadn't seen it, but it's interesting that, yeah, I mean,
Does
maybe.
I'm sorry to cut Paul off because I'm not sure. Does Sergeant Slaughter daughter wrestle?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, because that's why I just wanted to make sure. I was about to say like a fight or like a wrestling match fight.
Yeah,
that's
not
why I
that
was
I
like,
know of. I've never heard of her wrestling. As I said, she's a Marine, or was a Marine.
Maybe she is going to come into the ring. Who knows? You know?
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Well, I know that they've been trying to figure out the Lacey Evans situation ever since they moved her character from what was it originally? The Southern Belle or something like that, which was actually a cool character that people liked. That she was entertaining, and Lacey Evans can't go in the ring, but they've been trying to figure that out with the whole boot camp thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe they figured it out now. I know Lacey Evans as a person isn't the most liked human being.
No.
She has said some interesting takes that people do not agree with. I'm not gonna get into that, but everybody got their opinion. But I don't know where you go with it. Like maybe I think most likely she'll probably be in the Money in the Bank match if she hasn't already. But I don't know what you do with it.
Like I said, unless Sarge's daughter is going to come in, maybe they're wrestling for the right to wear the camo. Who knows? You know.
That's
Yeah.
an interesting idea.
I've talked to some people. I don't think she's getting over with this gimmick. I just don't.
I don't think. I mean, either. I think they gotta go back to Southern Belle. That was her best gimmick. Like something that you wanted to change for whatever reason. Everybody enjoyed it. She was very cool. She could Lacey Evans can wrestle. Is that people just don't like her as a human being?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if a match was going to come out of this, but I think it's more that Sarge's daughter was just upset that she's pretty much copying her dad's gimmick, basically. Not that really that's her fault. I wouldn't think it's.
I was going to say I was going to say if it's like a lot of the gimmicks though, does McMahon own the rights to that gimmick?
That's a very interesting thing that I don't know either.
I'm going to say no, because I've seen Sarge turn up on other wrestling promotions, even indie promotions and stuff, in his gimmick and being called Sergeant Slaughter. So I think he may own the rights himself to the whole gimmick and Sergeant Slaughter name if he's using it outside of WWE.
Right.
Well, I would say you can still pay homage to Sergeant Slaughter, but you have to make Lacey Evans her own identity. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Copy somebody's skill thing. You Spook. You listen to hip hop a lot.
Yeah.
Do you know? Let me use a hip hop analogy for the audience. I hope y'all listen to hip hop a lot. It's like when somebody creates a new sound, eventually somebody's gonna take that sound, but you just can't take it and just run with it. You gotta put your own spin on it. Like a flavor or something. Like when Kid Cudi came out, he was the hottest thing out. But then when Travis Scott came out, he started doing the same thing. He added his own flavor spin, and Travis Scott became the biggest artist in the world.
You ain't wrong. Hey, what's good, Lemon? What's good, big bro?
Hey, Lemon.
He goes, I want a DDT Yobi. Yeah, we're gonna have a Brooklyn brawl, bro. But
are we on the last topic?
Yeah, we're about to head on to the last topic. But yeah, I think I think we can all agree that they either need to reverse course here and go back to that Southern Belle gimmick, or just if they don't want to go back there, or she doesn't want to go, find a new gimmick. Don't rehash someone, because this is too samey. Like from the outfit, the hat, everything, and she's trying to come out and be like real strict, like Sarge's character. Like no, it's just not where it doesn't come across as believable. And look, I know she herself is former Marine, former Army and that herself, but no, it's that's Sarge's thing when it comes to WWE wrestling and stuff like that. Robert Remus, as everybody that knows his actual proper name. And I think it just needs to be left that way. I think she needs her own
Slaughter
thing.
passed away. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Did he pass away? I'm not sure.
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure on that.
Because I would like, if he's still alive, I would like to get his opinion on this. Like, I think he's the only one that can speak on it if he's alive. Again, I really don't know, so I'm not gonna say spread some kind of fake news that he's dead or not. I really don't know.
Hang on a second. No, he's still alive. 74 years of age.
He's still alive.
Yeah.
Oh, God bless him. But I'm like, I write this. What his thoughts on this on? Like, maybe he gave a permission that we don't know of. I do not know. But what are his thoughts about someone trying to still use your gimmick?
Yeah.
I can't see Vince using because for them to use the gimmick, it's got to get by Vince or whoever. They can't just walk in there and go, "This is what I want to do," and you ain't got no. Yeah,
Like Yobi said, no, he didn't. He turned out the Lacey Evans storyline.
Oh, so he turned down the Lacey Evans storyline?
Did he? Is that what you mean? He turned down, or he turned? He said turned out. I think he might have been down. I'm not sure. No, he did. No, I think that's what Yobi means. I'm just looking at it now. Legend refused to return in the storyline.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's a very interesting situation they got to figure out. Again,
Yeah.
I think you just return Lacey
the
Evans
only
to Southern Belle.
old, the only old, yeah, they wanted him involved, and he said no. Okay, yeah.
Oh, he is 74 years old. Let the man rest.
The only person, or the only old school guy, and I wish he didn't. I really wish he didn't. But Piper gave Rhonda the okay to use the rowdy name.
I was going to
do
mention
remember
that because just tonight she came out and I went, heard the way her name looks in there.
I think
it's Piper's thing, man. It looks like
me and about 90% of the wrestling fans are so sick of her. Like, just leave, go. Like, please.
Well, the gold and red look, and I mean, it looked like Piper stuff, and I didn't know he had agreed to that. I'm like, holy crap, she's doing it.
Look, I'll be straight up with this before we move on to the last one.
I'm all about Shayna Baszler, bro. That's
Shayna Baszler carries that woman. That Ronda Rousey is the worst women's wrestler I've seen come through in wrestling. Like, she just is. She just is.
No, he's speaking. He's speaking.
She just.
You want to
is.
talk?
Oh man.
It's her and unfortunately, it's her and Britt. They are like the worst. They get carried.
Look at that Johnny Cage kick on the stage a few weeks back. Oh my God.
I remember that too.
I'm like, come on. And then, like, in the match recently, I think it may have been that time. She almost fell off the freaking top rope, like, trying to do something.
You know what's interesting with the Ronda thing? That she peaked at WrestleMania at that mixed tag match, and they rode the wave with it. But the thing that they messed up on, eventually she left too. She went to go have a baby. She wanted to retire early, have a child, and start a family. And I can't blame her for that. But the other thing she came back. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the other thing I've never gotten is this whole moniker, the baddest woman. Well, if you're so bad, why did you run from 2 promotions from Christine Cyborg? If you're supposed to be the baddest woman on the planet, you didn't face Christine because she would have beat your ass.
Yeah, she lost to Holly. She lost to Holly Holmes, and who else? She lost to what's my girl name? Amanda Nunes.
Yes.
So and she had no chance against Amanda Nunes. That was I don't know what that was.
She fears Christine Cyborg, and she ran, that's why I didn't.
Ronda can't fight. Ronda can't fight. She can tap people out. I'll give her that. She's a submission out expert, but she can't fight. They can fight.
No, and she's good at her judo moves.
Yeah,
But-
like she can do that. She's a takedown artist, but like, yo, when you can't take me down and I start throwing bombs at your face, what you gonna do? You got to hit back. Like she can't hit back. She
I
can hit.
I get what Lemon says in the chat. I don't know so much now. Like she did at one point, I'd say, put asses in seats when she first came into WWE because you could just tell off the crowd, right? The crowd was fully cheering her. Now they're going to sleep. Now I'd say Rhea Ripley puts asses in seats.
That's a fact. That's not even a
Oh,
discussion. That's a fact.
Speaking of which, real quick, I want to mention, because we're going to go back to Cody for a second. You know who just interrupted Cody's interview with The Miz? Rhea and that wanker.
Dominic. Oh, my man.
Dominic, yeah. You know what?
I love Dominic.
No, but you know what? He's gotten that much, like just his name recognition has got that much big that he got mentioned on AEW by Max Caster in his rap.
Which actually, hang on, that actually caused some things I've heard, some conversations on the timeline.
That could be be the next thing they're going to do with him is they're going to throw him against Dominic.
I mean, Dominic has improved as a wrestler, but I don't.
No, he needs
No,
to
but
still
but they're both about the same size. They could actually probably put on a pretty decent show. Yeah.
Dom.
Dom.
And it gets Rhea out there to be a bitch. That's what she does, and she does it well. She does.
Yep.
She does.
Although if the long-term story, I've seen a couple of rumors going around that he's going to eventually turn on her. He's going to clothesline her and like really beat her down. And
Like we'll get an intergender match.
yeah, and I'm like, yes, please. But
I mean, they experimented with it. They experimented with it. And Rhea's been pushing for an intergender match.
The reason why they want to go that route, if that's the way they do go, I know he's got heat now, but if he's beaten up a woman,
Oh
my God, the heat is going to be unbelievable.
Because they still haven't wrapped up the feud between him and Daddy either.
No, not really. Which
they put a pause on it.
They put a pause on it, but they haven't really wrapped it up.
No.
I'm honestly fine with them putting a pause on it, honestly, because you probably would have dragged that out. I just put a pause on it. Let Ray do the thing with the LWO, who's starting to get over. Selena's been having a blast. I'm a huge Selena Vega fan.
I just wish they gave him a few more bloody wins and what it's like they build him up and then they make him lose and they build him up and they make him lose. I'm like, come on, give the LW.
That's every wrestling promotion, Spook. AEW does
that's just what they do. That's just the way that works.
Yeah, build them up, lose. But see, that's why I started getting annoyed with WWE with what they're doing with Omar. I'm like, if you truly want to get him over as the next big show, next Andre the Giant type thing, you can't have him lose at every pay-per-view. Like you have him it's funny, they have him destroy who he's versing leading up to the pay-per-view, and then at the pay-per-view he loses.
Yeah, he needs to start winning sometime.
Shout out Omos too. He got married recently.
Yeah,
he got married. So
because they didn't do that. They didn't do that with Big Show and Andre. They allowed them to win at pay-per-view. Like you got to give this man a big win at a pay-per-view at some point. Like if you want him to be the you're portraying him as your big over 7 foot attraction kind of thing, ninth wonder of the world, whatever you want to say. But he just keeps losing at the pay-per-view. The poor, I feel sorry for him. He keeps losing at the pay-per-view, and he's the biggest guy that they've got in there. You got to portray him as this giant and give him some wins. Obviously you weren't going to have him go over Seth, but we all know he should have beaten Brock at WrestleMania.
I
actually thought he was going to beat Brock. And give Brock credit. He was working that match. I
agree.
ain't never seen Brock work that hard than that in years, bro.
I agree, Yobi. She needs to, and I think it'll happen. Because she's basically being built up as today's China. So and Beth Phoenix really. So she'll take on a guy at some point, or even a few of them. Maybe she takes out her own. They do a babyface turn with her at one point, and she'd still be over, and she takes out Seth, Dominic, and Damien.
I was going to say, she could probably take out Dominic pretty easily.
I think
relationships.
I think she could take out all three of the guys that she's teamed up with.
Yeah.
she's bigger built than all three of them. When you look at her build,
Yeah.
definitely got broader shoulders and everything. So have her take out Dom and then have her beat the crap out of Damien and say, yeah, guess what? The only reason the Judgment Day was any something kind of something was because of me. Because it is. She carries the Judgment Day. Like, let's be fair.
She does.
She carries the Judgment Day. I think the only reason people show interest in the Judgment Day is because of her. You take her out of it, that group wouldn't be sitting where it's sitting.
Nope.
It could probably be already over and done with by now if she wasn't in. So she's saving that group and their storylines. But moving on to the last topic, which will be an interesting one to get into discussion. Dream matchups that you would have liked to seen back in the day that never happened, and dream matchups you would like to see in wrestling today. I'll start with you first, Paul.
I don't know, because I don't, I mean, yeah, I can't do yesterday and today, but there are things like I would love to see like somebody the size of Omos versus Andre the Giant. Even back in the day, the Big Show versus Andre in his prime might have been a fun show to watch too.
Yeah, you could do things like that too. Yeah, you could even that's classes matches. That would have been awesome to see.
Yep.
What's Trin say? She goes, I have a question for you guys. If China was still alive, who could you see her tag team with in the ring or help mentor? Probably Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least in WWE. In AEW, I'm trying to think now. In AEW, probably either Jade or what's the other big?
I'd like to see her with the one with the hair, the one with the long hair, the long ponytail.
Bianca.
Bianca. She would have been fire with Bianca in the tag team.
Yeah, power and speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But another one in AEW I could see her with, other than Jade Cargill, would be Willow. I could have seen her with
Willow. Oh yeah, definitely Willow.
Yeah. Dream matchup for Yobi, Sami Zayn versus Carter. That would be crazy.
Oh, that would be good. That would be great.
That would be good.
That would be an insane match. Absolutely insane. I would like to see Vikingo versus Ricochet.
That would be a highlight reel. That would just be a human highlight reel.
Oh yeah.
What else I would like? Oh, they actually even talked about it on the timeline too. Steph Rollins versus Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
They especially that Will Ospreay might be a free agent. Seth and Roman and Kenny is my biggest one. I just want Roman and Kenny.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the only one I want to see.
Roman would sell well for him. Wrestling ability wise, I don't know they match up too great, but he would definitely sell. He would definitely sell, like he goes for the spear and Kenny, does a V trigger. And he knows, as I said, Roman knows how to sell. But I said, that would be. I think Yobi said it before. That would be a 5-star match, but Seth and Kenny would be like a 10-star match, just because of their ring ability. They're just, that's the thing with Roman. Roman's really good in that main event slot, but he's not. I don't think you could ever say he's the greatest wrestler. He's another one like Cody. Like, their wrestling ability's not really that great. But the one thing that he kind of has over Cody is he does have a main event look about him compared to Cody, So that's why I think it works for him. Obviously teamed up with Paul Heyman, it works for him.
I was going to say I think a lot of it is Heyman. Heyman makes a lot of that work.
Yeah. I mean, it worked for Brock too. Like, Brock had the wrestling ability, but he needed a mouthpiece because he's just terrible. He's still terrible on a microphone. He really needs a mouthpiece. Some guys are like that. As I said, I've said this many times. There is guys that are great in the ring and great on the microphone. but they're very, very few and far between. Chris Jericho.
Most of the best wrestlers in the world are not great on the microphone.
No.
I mean,
Kenny Omega's great in the
Omega
ring.
is the perfect example.
Yeah, but he's...
It's interesting that there aren't as many managers as there used to be. Remember, there used to be like Jimmy Hart and...
One dream match for me would have been Owen Hart versus Bryan Danielson.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And Bret Hart versus Bryan Danielson.
Dave Meltzer would pass out.
Yeah. Yeah, he would. He would. But both Hart brothers against Bryan Danielson would be crazy. Even Owen Hart actually against Kenny Omega would be an insane match. Because Owen was a bit more of a high flyer than what Bret was. Who else would I have? I would have loved to seen more so in their prime Sting versus Undertaker. That was always a dream for me, but it should have been done when they were in their prime. And WWE did have a chance to get Sting when he was in his mid-30s. Obviously,
But he wanted to stay with Impact still.
No, he wanted to stay with WCW. That was when he was...
WCW.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean mid-30s. I'm thinking you thinking like the 40s and my fault.
Yeah,
I'm wrong with that.
So that would have been an awesome match. I would have liked to seen Stone Cold against Moxley. That would have been insane.
Oh, that'd be
That would be insane. Who else could you have? Trying to think now. The Rock versus MJF would have been a great one on the mic and stuff as well. Okada. I would like to actually see Okada and what's his name in WWE? Okada and Carmelo Hayes. I would
that'd be a
love to
fun
see-
match.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Josh Alexander versus Kurt Angle would be another dream match. That would be insane. Josh Alexander being basically the new Kurt. Brock Lesnar versus Pete Dunne. You mean what's he get called now? The Brawling Brutes.
Butch.
Butch. Yeah, that would actually be an interesting. That'd be an interesting match, man. Because Pete Dunne, he hits hard, man. He hits real
Very hard.
He would go well against guys like Okada and Tanahashi and Ishii and stuff like that because of how hard he hits. Who else would I like to see? Would have liked to seen like Eddie Guerrero taking on trying to think of his name in Eddie Guerrero taking on Rush in from AEW. That would have been an insane matchup to watch. Eddie against you know what? I would have actually... People might think this is a bit odd, but Eddie Guerrero versus Orange Cassidy, the comedy in that match between the two of them...
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, between Orange Cassidy with his wrestling style and Eddie Guerrero with his lie, cheat, and steal, like, that would...
Yeah.
That would be an insane match. And, I mean, we all know Orange can wrestle, too, so... that would have just been a heck of a match to see. Obviously, yeah, Omos versus Big Show, Omos versus... Andre, Omos versus Carly would be insane.
Yeah.
Sort of just giant matches, you know. I would have liked to seen... I mean, he is in the company. I just don't know if he wants to get back in the ring, but it would have been cool to see Mark Henry take on Bronson Reed. Just from a pure size point of view.
Big meaty man slapping meat.
Yeah. Just from a pure size. Oh, man. That would have been... Mark Henry could out-wrestle Bronson Reed, though, easily. But it just would have been two big behemoths going at it. But, yeah. Yeah, I would have loved to see... I don't know if they ever did either in New Japan. And if they didn't, I would have loved to seen... Nakamura take on Tajiri.
Oh, that would be cool.
Japanese buzzsaw. That would have been an
I
insane
want to
matchup.
say they did do it, but I'm not positive.
No, they may have. But if not, then that would have been an insane match. I think Tajiri definitely wrestled Great Muta. I've seen that. Great Muta in his prime could have matched up just with anybody, really. With anybody.
Hey, there is a dream match I want to see. We might be getting it probably at SummerSlam, maybe.
Yeah.
If all goes well, it would be Asuka versus Io.
Yeah.
That's because they were the best and probably back in their Japan days. I even like to see Mercedes take on Jamie Hayter. So
yeah. Either that or see a take on Britt Baker.
Oh no, that's a carry job. I want a match, not a carry. I like Britt. I like Britt. She's a great talker, but Britt's not a great wrestler.
I think she's improved though. I think she's improved a lot thanks to her. I was about to say husband, and they're not married yet. Thanks to her man. She has
fiance. I think they are now.
Fiance. Yeah.
This point.
So she's definitely improved. I remember in the early days of AEW. Yeah, she was green. But I just think that would work with their big star personalities. Like, the women's division pretty much is Britt Baker. Just like the New Japan women's division right now is kind of Mercedes. You know, they're the top of the field. And I think, as I said, Britt's had some phenomenal matches. As she's improved, she has actually had some phenomenal like her matches with Hikaru Shida were actually really, really good. And if she gets put in there, like her match with Saraya was insane. It was really good as well. And she kind of had to actually carry Saraya through that because it was Saraya's first match day.
Yeah, that was understandable. On that
but she's a very safe worker, and as I said, she's just going to continue to get better. She is. She's. You can see she wants to learn. And as I said, if you go back to you look at her now and you look at her when she first came in, there's a huge difference. She's improved out of sight. So she trains her ass off. So I've got to give the woman credit. She's definitely one of my favourites, and you know I'm proud of her from, as I said, from how far she's come, and as again she's still got a lot of improving, but I think she's going to be one of the best women wrestlers in the world at some point. Microphone, she doesn't need any more work there. She's perfect on the microphone, but yeah, like Mercedes and her would put on a stellar, showing. I think I'd like to see Mercedes versus Hikaru Shida though too. That would be an insane.
That'll be a good one.
I don't know if she's still with AEW, but Mercedes and Serena Deeb would probably tear the house down as well. I just don't know if Serena's still part of AEW. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, even back if you want to go old school, I would have loved to seen Prime. Hey, what's good, Dion? What's good, bro? I would have loved to seen Prime Medusa take on Jamie Hayter and take on Becky Lynch. She was a fantastic wrestler back in the day. She came even before China and all of them. But yeah, damn. I mean, there's some dream matchups. I mean, there's still dream matchups of today, and we can see a lot of the dream matchups between AEW and New Japan and AEW and AAA because they've got those cross promotions. I know it'll never ever happen. But I would love to just once, even if it was just once, they could literally tagline it once in a lifetime, similar tagline to Cena and Rock, even though that kind of went out the window because they did it twice. But this would live up to put your egos aside, Tony and Vince, and do an AEW cross pay-per-view with WWE.
That's up to Vince. It ain't. I think Tony would be up to it because it's money there, but it's up to Vince. And Vince
I think the only time,
alive.
yeah, I think the only time anybody may get the slightest bit of hope of that ever happening is when Vince
passes
gone
away
and Triple H is fully in charge, because I think Triple H would be up for it to put it on.
I think he would too. That's the thing. Like he respects those dudes over there.
And Tony,
it's just Vince is the only one that doesn't want it.
Yeah. So maybe it.
And I also get it. I can't knock Vince for that. Like if you're, I know people be like, oh, Vince should do. I'm like, no. If I'm a business, why do I want to help out my competition?
Yeah, I agree.
Like that's why most of y'all can't be businessmen. Y'all don't know how to run a business.
No, and it's
the problem I have with Vince is he holds a grudge almost to his detriment. You know. Yeah. Because sometimes a big show like that would be a good thing for both companies.
Oh,
you know?
It would. It would be insane. It would be insane.
Yeah.
Like the buy rates of the pay-per-view alone. Woo! Both
but
him and Tony
because Vince holds a grudge, though, because Vince holds grudges like nobody's business. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we may get to happen once he's gone. That's the only time I can see happening.
By the way, I just thought of one. Brock Lesnar versus Mick Foley in his prime.
Oh my God, Brock like, oh my God.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of blood, but it'd be a fun match. There'd be a lot.
Yeah, Mick would bite him. No, that would be. Here you go, in their primes in a Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
But no, I would love to see that one day. And I hope us fans eventually get to see that, because there's so much great talent in both companies.
Yep.
And if Kenny actually just re-signs with AEW and stays there, that's the only way you're going to get to see the matchups between him and Seth, or him and whoever, or, you know, Danielson and someone else, you know, or that Danielson still got a great relationship with WWE, so he could even go back there one day.
That's Vince's boy right there. He loved Daniel Bryan, so he could be a bridge. So
yeah, he could. He left on good terms. He almost, in fact, re-signed with them instead of going to AEW, but he decided that he wanted to challenge.
He not only that, he said as much as he loves Vince, he just felt like Vince protects him way too much. And as you see AEW, he can do the things that he can't usually normally do at WWE. And
Vince wasn't letting him wrestle. That was it. I think that was half the issue.
Yeah, because he just wanted to protect him. Like, yo, you've gone through a lot of concussion injuries. Like, I want to make sure you go around for your children.
You know why? You know why I think he's like that? It's a shame that it took him so long, because that man copped so much heat with the disregard he did with Owen Hart. And
and as much as we shit on Vince, I feel like there are times like he does care about the wrestlers. As crazy as it sounds,
he picks
like there was the whole Kurt Angle, the Rey Mysterio.
He picks.
Ray went to him when he was on his shit. Like, he said, "Yo, I'm proud of you coming to me to say that. You go do your thing over there. You go get help. We'll wait for you over here, and we could talk when you come back." Kurt, I mean, I remember I watched the Kurt Angle documentary about this. Like, Kurt left because Vince wanted him to get help because he had a drug addiction. And I was like, I never knew that. I thought Kurt got fired or something.
He had a he had a prescription pain med addiction, big time.
No, Kurt was on perk like.
Oh, and that
Kurt
too, yeah. But he's not the only one. There's been a lot of them over the years. They mix that with pain meds, with depression medication.
Jake the Snake fell down that rat hole. Yeah. Jake,
Benoit.
He was a nut. Benoit, God rest his soul. I don't know about that one. That's
yeah, you can't. Yeah, I know that one's.
I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up.
No, if you want to talk about him, and I still do. I just strictly talk about his ring ability. You know. But again, he had lots of issues himself. Eddie was another one.
Eddie got help though. That's the thing. Eddie eventually got help. Like, he talked about it, but And obviously, he did die from, was it an overdose or was it a heart attack?
No, overdose.
Overdose? Oh, dang.
Yeah. Which
Like-
I think may have actually caused a stroke or a heart attack anyway, but he overdosed on. I used to know off the top of
I
my head what
remember
it was too, but it was
watching
something.
that night.
Yeah, he was
I remember
found in
watching
his.
that night.
He was found in the hotel bathroom. I'm pretty sure by Chavo. But yeah, I mean, there's been some guys. As I said, Vince really picks and chooses though who he gives a damn about, because there's been plenty of wrestlers that he hasn't given two craps about.
Right.
Yep.
Once they stop being able to make money for him, he doesn't give a shit.
No. The only guy you can really safely say he has, and he still does, is Undertaker. He always treated him with
That's
the
like
utmost
that's
respect.
his son, basically.
Yeah. Because we know him and Austin had an on again relationship. Even him.
They
and
pieced it up though.
even
They
him and The
pieced it
Rock.
up, though.
Vince and The Rock's had an on again, off again relationship. Jericho has had an on again, off again relationship with him.
Yeah, the way Jericho talked, he looked like he never want to go back.
No, and he won't. He won't now. He's with he'll retire now.
He's retiring, but he's going to go back for the Hall of Fame because that's what he wants at this point. I want the Hall of Fame. I want my recognition that I've been here.
Well, he kind of has to, because AEW hasn't got one. I'm surprised.
Their first, he'll probably be the first inductee in their Hall of Fame, honestly.
That, and if it's not him, it'll be Owen Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be very interesting how WWE reacts to that. I don't even know what you can say to that, but
Well, they'll have a whinge like, oh, but he was never alive to wrestle for you guys, and then Martha will come out and go, I don't give
that would definitely be the conversation when
and Martha will
that
come out
happened.
and go and just use the same line she's used for years. You killed my husband,
Yeah.
so you're not getting a.
I honestly don't think WWE would say anything about it because it's like, what can you say?
They won.
No, they won't, because they know what'll happen. You'll hark up Brett, and he'll start, and she will just go hard at you like she's always gone at you. So I actually think the first one they'll induct will be Owen, and they'll do it based off of, because we know he wasn't alive to be a part of AEW, but they'll do it based off of what he did and achieved in New Japan. That's how they've made his legacy a part of AEW. It's since they've worked out the deal with Martha, it's all been about his New Japan stuff. And he was big in New Japan. He was big. I'd even go as far to say as they were treating him better, and he was bigger in New Japan than he was anywhere else. And I know that's a big statement to make, but you go back. I've got all the footage on him because, as I said, he's one of my favourite wrestlers. I've got nearly every ounce of footage that I could have got my hands on over the years, and they loved him over there. He was treated as a king. If he had stayed there, he could have been the biggest star in New Japan for many, many decades until he stopped wrestling. He is just a phenomenal talent, and I don't think Vince knew what to do with him. Vince kind of knew what to do with Brett until that soured, but he just didn't know what to do with Owen. Outside the one good thing
Was that during the Vince Russo days too?
I'm not sure,
Because I remember.
Vince Russo was there.
I remember seeing Piper.
Attitude.
Go at Vince saying, he kind of killed Owen because of the bullshit.
Yeah,
That
I think
idea
Russo was only there during the Attitude Era. He wasn't there during what they referred to as the Next Gen Era or the New Gen Era, where, as I said, they had all these campy type gimmicks and stuff. That's when Owen really came into prominence with them. That we're going back into the very, very early 90s before the Attitude Era. And he had a fantastic feud with Brett. That was probably his best feud in the whole of WWE. Out of his whole run, he had some great matches, but out of his whole run in WWE, the best feud he had was against his own brother. And outside that, Vince didn't really use him or treat him right. And then towards the end, he just treated him as a joke. And I'm like, why are you got the no joke. He could out-wrestle every single Attitude Era star in his sleep. And you've got this man being a joke. Like, are you kidding me? He legitimately was. I know Bret Hart, I know his brother used to use the tag, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. No. Bret was great, but Owen was, and Bret's admitted, Owen was tenfold better. Owen legitimately was the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever. He could have out-wrestled even Shawn Michaels. He was that good. And he was never given his time to really shine. As I said, you go back and watch the stuff. He was ahead of his time. The stuff he was doing in New Japan was crazy. So he had mat game as well as high flying. Like, he was crazy. Absolutely crazy. And there's a lot of wrestlers. Jericho's even came out and said it, that Owen's the best wrestler he's ever seen in that ring. Phenomenal. Literally. Phenomenal before there was AJ Styles. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was that good. Mm-hmm. He was that good.
Again, it comes down to Vince holds a grudge, and he holds it against not only you, he holds it against your family and your dog and your realtor. You know, it's like
the thing is, he never made the call either. He never made the call to Martha at all to apologize for anything. And it got real dirty and heated in the courts that she eventually won in the end. But, you know, it is what it is. But I think Owen Hart definitely will get into... I think he's a part of... I think he is a part of another Hall of Fame in wrestling. I just don't know what. It might be New Japan's or something like that. But he'll never ever be a part of WWE's. Not while Martha's alive. So
probably even after Martha.
I think.
I'll give it a buck. I don't think we're ever going to see him in any Hall of Fame.
No, because it'll probably be up to his... Then the decision will probably fall on his children then. And they hold a lot of disdain just like their mum. I think you'll see him inducted into the AEW Hall of Fame. Because I think AEW, if they create one, they'll recognise, you know, what you've done on the independent scene, what you've done in New Japan, and et cetera, Impact Wrestling, all that jazz. So...
and I think what he's done for wrestling in general too. I mean, just you know, just on that alone, just to say, hey, you know, what he brought to wrestling is you know amazing. You know?
Him and Jericho probably be the first two inductees. Oh well, actually, the first three inductees will probably be Owen, Jericho, and Sting. They'll be your first three into the AEW Hall of Fame. Probably followed after that by Kenny Omega, because he helped get the company started. If Cody ever comes back, Cody probably be inducted in there too. I actually think that's where Cody will end up finishing. I think he's going to get sick of this. He's going to get sick of this crap in WWE, and he's going to come back. He really is. They're going to force him to come back because he's going to be like, well, this isn't what I signed up for, you know. Even when they do put the top title, I do think it'll just be the world title. It's not going to be Roman's title. I guarantee that he only holds it for a very, very, very short time.
And he'll probably go back to WWE or AEW, and he's probably learned a lot in his time in WWE.
Yeah,
he'll take back with him. The
main thing, that's the main thing. I think, if anything, apart from, you know, hoping and praying they do right and give him a world title, I think one of the main reasons he went back there is to learn more for when he does hang it up and wants to go, you know, into the executive role. He'll have a lot more experience, a lot more knowledge.
Yep.
So, and I think he's working pretty closely, from all accounts, with Hunter. So he'd be learning a lot from Hunter, and he can bring that back one day. Because, as I said, that is essentially his baby with the Young Bucks and Kenny. AEW was his baby. Tony's just the money man.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I truly do. I believe he will finish his career in AEW. He'll come back. He'll wrestle. You know, even if it's just for a year or two, and then he'll fully move into a backstage role.
Yep. Hunter strikes me as the good kind of executive you want to work for.
Yeah.
He doesn't play politics. He doesn't do that shit. He just wants what's best for his company.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. He is.
And he's
good.
willing to train you how to do his job, which is, you know.
Hunter's the reason why WWE is any good. When you get the good storylines and that today, that's Hunter. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all Hunter. When those storylines aren't making sense, it's kind of all over the shop, or it's a bit that's Vince. You know, it's so easy to tell. They're at both different ends of the scale. You know, and Vince just doesn't understand today's wrestling.
Get it?
Yeah. He just doesn't. He doesn't have the finger on the pulse anymore. He just doesn't have it anymore. You know, it's like time to pack up, old man. Go and enjoy retirement. Let your son run it.
To use a sports and movie analogy, if you ever watched the movie Any Given Sunday, it was when the coaches for football were having to switch from a running game to a passing game. The whole West Coast offense.
Yeah.
You know, and the older guys just couldn't keep up. They couldn't. Well, this is how I've done it forever. Well, forever's then. This is now. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
And Vince is in that same boat. Vince doesn't understand. He's got to change. He's got to adjust.
He still thinks a wrestler should be like back in the 80s and 90s, where they were big, bulky, steroid, fucking driven, like that type of look and everything. You know.
Yeah.
And he still likes to run things, you know, back in the old school ways, and it just doesn't work now. You know, it's a new game. Yep. It's well and truly a new era, and really wrestling's kind of passed him by. Like, you know, no one's ever going to forget what you done for the wrestling business. You know, you took your daddy's promotion and built it up into an empire. You know, no one's going to forget that anytime soon. But now's the time to step aside, go and enjoy your damn retirement, and let your son-in-law do what he can do, what he does best, and that's make, you know, great wrestling to watch.
Matt,
you know,
he learned from you. That's the crazy part. He learned everything from you.
Yeah, exactly. And Triple H, though, he just got his finger on the pulse. And Triple H understands too that wrestlers are never going to be that, you know, bulky looking dudes from back in the day anymore. Even he was a part of that. You know, you look at his build now. He's a hell of a lot smaller than he was back in the Attitude Era when he was using roids. You know, so. You know, it's different times. It's different times, and Triple H is... The thing is, Vince has always been big on the bigger guys, and Triple H seems like he's bigger on the smaller, sort of average-looking guys.
Triple H is big on the wrestler.
On the wrestler.
He's big on the wrestlers, and he's big on the guys that can move fast and do a lot real quick. I mean, just poop, bang, 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 bang. I mean...
Who's Triple H's best friend? Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, and he's tiny. He's tiny. Yeah, he's tiny. And look what Shawn did in his career for a guy that looks like a cruiserweight. And, but hell, he was the showstopper, literally, you know. So, as said, there's really only one person back in his era, in his prime, that could out-wrestle him, and that was Owen. Other than that, Shawn Michaels was the man, you know. Especially for WWE, those times, it just sucked for the poor guy that his back gave out on him, and he had to take some years off to get that right. You know, he missed a good chunk of the Attitude Era. He really did.
Yep.
Which sucked for him, but it was great to see him come back at the tail end of it, and didn't really like seeing him do the NWO thing there, but that was a bit weird. But no, it was good, and he finally actually in the end got to go out on his own accord in the way he wanted. So that was fantastic. But that's all the show, folks, that we've got for you today. I just want to thank, of course, Yobi. Of course, great to see you each and every week and talk and wrestling with you, brother. Dion showed up late. Always great to see you, brother. Of course, Trinity.
What's up, D?
Always great to have you in here, love, and everything you do behind the scenes is always appreciated. The big brother Lemon, thank you, sir, for dropping by. Who else was up in here earlier? Rock, always good to see you, man. Stop by. And we had a few others up here. Pharrell, Can't forget Little Pharrell. Victor Click, Pyro, the Boogeyman, Dread, of course, also was up in here earlier.
Oh, that's right. And real quick, I didn't get a chance to do it. I don't know if he's still there, but it's Vic the Clit. I know he likes to hear me say that, so he'll have to watch the end of the show to hear that now.
Victor. But yes, no, great to see so many familiar faces, whether you came in and dropped by for 5 minutes or you stuck with us the whole show. It's always very, very much appreciated. But we'll get into the outros here, of course. I'll start with you first, Josh. You want to let the fine folks know where they can find you, brother?
Hey, always you can find me on Twitter at JoshAccount1. That's pretty much it. You can't find me anywhere else but there.
There you go. Short and sweet. All right, Paul. Apart from being in the ring calling out Booker T, where can the fine folks know?
That's right. I still take on the old man. Hey, you can find me at Twitter, Cerebral Paul 1. You might be able to find me the rest of the week, like on tomorrow with the Retro Renegades. Wednesday, I might be back here. I might not, because Thursday, I will be leaving for Canada. Niagara Falls Comic Con is this coming up weekend. I will be there. If you're in the area of Niagara Falls on the Canadian side, let me know, and maybe we can hook up and get together. I will be at the convention, but if you'll be in the area, maybe we can meet up, have some Timmies or something. I will be there until Tuesday. Then I'll be back next week for my regular shows.
Nice. That's good.
Real quick. Tomorrow I will be on my show, Gaming Differently with Cerebral Paul on the Xbox Ambassador channel, and I have 2 1-month passes for Game Bass Ultimate I will be giving away. That's at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 8 p.m. in the UK.
So go
and somewhere in the middle of the night for Spooky.
Yeah. But get on that, folks. Get on that. Especially if you have a Game Pass running out, you got a chance to win a month there. And, of course, you find me at Spooky TBG, absolutely everywhere, PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, Twitter, Facebook, the like. Of course, we will be back, us three boys, obviously, next week for our sixth.
I won't be here next week.
That's right, yeah, you'll still be in Canada, but me and Josh will be back here next week for the 6th episode. But with the Bastards this week, we will be not on the Wednesday evening. We will be doing a live reaction special this Sunday for the Xbox Showcase. I've mentioned it on Twitter. We've got some lovely guests lined up. Noof Nukem will be joining us. Doggy Dog from the Retro Renegades will be joining us. The brother from Another K, Mega, will also be joining us as well. Resident Gamer Zero, aka Ryan, and Sergeant Steve for the after show portion of the show will be there as well as Charlie Hustle, and Paul will be there if he's got any decent internet where he is, of course.
Yeah.
So look out for that show. Other than that, for the rest of the week, I will be. Is it Thursday? Yeah, Thursday on another. I'll just forget who's actually going to be a part of it, other than Mav, Pong, and obviously some others for the live reaction co-stream of the Summer Games Fest with Jeff Keighley hosting. So keep your eyes peeled for that. So big week this week for showcases, because I think there's also Ubisoft Forward. I think it is at some point as well.
And Capcom just announced something too.
Yep, and then I think is it 2 days, Paul, after the Xbox? They got the extended Xbox showcase.
Yeah, on the 13th. On the 13th is the Forza Motorsport.
Yeah, showcase. You just get more. So games. So that's great. It's great if you're a gamer. Look out for those shows. Look out for me. Big week for me. Big week for Paul. He's going up. Going to check out and meet up with some old wrestlers and people from that industry from yesteryear. So that's going to be fantastic to hear his stories when he is back. He might even have a chance to actually get an interview with the one and only Bret the Hitman Hart, which would be insane.
I got
That'd be cool.
Jesse the Body's going to be there.
Yeah.
Bret Hart's going to be there.
Yeah.
Chico Santana as
Hey, Chico.
as Jesse would call him, as
Yes.
as Jesse would call him every single time,
Yeah.
and some of the females too. Yeah, there's like 6 of them or something there that I'm gonna.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see what we can
It'll be
do.
fantastic.
See what,
I forgot to ask you, is Alundra Blaze / Medusa going to be up there?
I don't know. Let me give me a second, and I will check.
That would be.
If I remember right, there is a modern era one there too as well.
Oh, you said Trish Stratus, didn't you? It's going to be there.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. As I said, Alundra Blaze would be a heck of a interview, especially with the whole controversy back in the day of when she went from WWF to WCW and dumped the WWF Women's title on live television into the bin. That was something back in the day. That was interesting.
Yeah, let's see. So, wrestling wise, we have the Legends of Wrestling. We have Jesse. Oh, Ric Flair's going to be there.
Woo!
Trish. Yep, Medusa's going to be there.
Oh, nice.
Wendy Richter, Lita, and Trish Stratus.
Wendy Rick. Now we're going back to the rock and wrestling days with her. With she used to be teamed up with Cyndi Lauper, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah. When Cyndi also used to be Hogan's manager.
Yes. Yeah. As I said, that was when it was known as that. Well, they're referring to it as the rock and wrestling days. That was back in the 80s, big time, because they always used to have the cross promotion with a lot of the rock and pop stars back then. Fantastic times.
And Lou Albano, baby.
Oh yeah, can't forget Captain Lou.
Captain Lou, because remember he was in the video with Cyndi Lauper for Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
That, and he was, correct me if I'm wrong, he was the original live action on the show version of playing Mario.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, there was that too. But there you go, folks. Fantastic times. We're all in for big weeks. But until we see each other again, I hope everyone has a great evening. And we will see you all next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.